about passage of the soul at the time of death. Karmana daivanetrena jantur deho apapataye. The soul is placed into the womb of the next mother according to his karma, but not simply mechanically. Daivanetrena means under the control of controlling demigods. So here Prabhupada mentions that there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment by accident or arrangement. So these verses and the conditions mentioned, they're not to be considered by devotees, but still Krishna is describing them. Text 25, the mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. You have the original Gita?
Yes.
Could you read that verse, please?
25.
Yeah.
Translation.
Translation.
The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the moonless fortnight, or in the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, or who reaches the moon planet, then comes back.
Sure. Purport. In the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon after death. These elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses. Text 26.
Gross senses mean
These. Cannot see with these eyes.
yeah, but there is moon planet also gross, no? It's not subtle.
Well, it is. Heavenly planets are more subtle, not completely subtle. Anyway, it says may not be perceived. It's not making a definite statement. 26. According to Vedic opinion, there are 2 ways of passing from the world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushana from the Chandogya Upanishad. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. 27.
Vishwadev just working for his Uttarayan.
Yes.
But he was a great devotee and in front of Krishna.
But he was a great devotee and a great yogi also. The point is that those who are in knowledge, of course, they want to take the most auspicious benefit. But if you don't know, then depending on Krishna, anything is okay. Just like, for example, it is said that Prabhupada he would never travel on Thursday afternoon. But actually, for a pure devotee, but still, there being subtle influence, he accepted that. "27. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion." Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always dovetailed in his service. And this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word yoga yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Srila Rupa Goswami advises, anasaktasya visayan yatarvam upayunjitaha. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the Supreme Abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Text 28 and last verse in this chapter. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Purport. This verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant. and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. I will go to the second paragraph. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. The previous paragraph describing the duties of a brahmachari, of a grihastha, of a vanaprastha, and sannyasi. But here it is said, the beauty of Krishna consciousness, if one engages fully in devotional service, and that one stroke, he surpasses all the rituals of the different orders of life. The words idam viditva indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and finally gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service, and the service dispel all one's misgivings about Krishna or God, and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme. Are there any questions about what we read? Yes.
In chapter 7, verse 21, Krishna says, I am the super soul in everyone's heart. Okay? And in 8, he says in death, the soul starts coming. So the question what I'm having is, when he's a super soul in every living being, does he inhabit the soul when it's passing from one living being to another?
Yeah, he is always with the soul. The super soul is actually within every soul. Not only accompanies, but he is within. The soul would have no actual position without Krishna's presence as super soul.
So, but then it doesn't really matter, right, in which way you believe. Because the soul by itself is completely blemishless. It doesn't have any blemishes. It's only the living entities which get all the sins, whatever you accumulate, and the soul by itself is clean. Because it's only comprised of the super soul of the Krishna.
And why are you trying to do anything? If all are the same, then why are you trying for anything?
So that's what I'm asking. So the question comes like, if we have if the soul is there and the soul is comprised of the super soul, and all our sins we accumulate because of our body material existence, right?
Well, an example can be given that just like in America, all the positions are America, under the control of American law. But what position you take may be a happy position or maybe a miserable position. Suppose you are a criminal and you are sent to jail and your life becomes miserable. It doesn't mean that that is outside the control of the government. That is also the government. But according to your actions, dictated by your mentality or attitude, you are placed in different situations. Everything is Krishna. But Krishna says, Jayata mam prapajante tam stathaya prajanyaham. Everywhere is Krishna's abode. Krishna is always with you. You're never away from Krishna because Krishna is everything. But as you surrender to Krishna, he rewards you accordingly.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on that portion. Exactly, I have no arguments regarding that. But my only argument is when you have when the soul, like when the super soul is inhabiting and only when it's doing one goes from one life to another life. It's only a soul and the super soul will exist.
No, you're covered by the mind. It is explained according to the condition of the mind at the time of death, that subtle body will carry you. All the karma is stored within the subtle body. That will carry you to your next embodiment, your next mother's womb. So you are there, but you are being carried by the mind under superior control, Daiva Nechena. Krishna is always with you, but he is not doing anything. He is upadrastanumanta cha. He is only looking what you're doing, and then he is giving permission. Okay, you want that then? Okay, this much you can do. According to your desires and activities, you are placed into some kind of situation. So that is your choice. Krishna is there because without the sanction of God, as it is said, without the sanction of God, not a blade of grass can move. Without Krishna helping, you cannot do anything. We have no power to act independently.
So when you okay, if I take that, then when you say when one against Krishna consciousness, you need to say that the layer no longer the layer encompassing the soul no longer exists. That when you are attained pure Krishna consciousness,
Yeah.
then you don't have any more memories of this past material existence anymore. So it's a pure soul.
Well, when you are in pure Krishna consciousness, you are never forgetful of Krishna. You see everything in relation to Krishna. Just like if you were America conscious, you can see everywhere you go the influence of America, how everything is related to America. You see everything, but you see everything in relation to Krishna. Here we see everything, but we don't see the connection to Krishna. Just like someone might say, I don't see God. Seeing everything, but he says, I don't see God.
My brother said.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that.
Just yesterday he said.
Yeah, her brother said. So, for such persons, Prabhupada says, of course, you're seeing God everywhere. Krishna says, you are thirsty. By your own strength, you cannot manifest water and quench your thirst, but Krishna is giving water, you drink. That is Krishna. Without the sunlight, there would be no life. That is also Krishna. See everything in relation to Krishna. Even there are many scientists now, they are thinking that this world is not a chance arrangement. Everything is called fine-tuning. Everything is too fine-tuned. The sun, we are just exactly the right distance from the sun. There's just exactly the right amount of oxygen in the air or whatever, that everything is, if it was just a little this side or that side, we wouldn't be able to live. So those who are Krishna conscious, they see that everything is supplied by Krishna. They can see how Krishna is supplying everything. Everything in relation to Krishna. They can also understand that whatever intelligence or understanding I have, that is also due to Krishna. Sarvasya chaham vriddhi sarvisha mata smriti jnanam apanam cha. I was going to read something. There's a purport of a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, which in the early days when there were only the few books, this is from second canto, so this was one of only a few volumes of Bhagavatam. This purport was struck mostly all the devotees as being a very special purport. The verse is, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is in every living being along with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. So basically what it is saying in the purport is that many people, they say, show me God, I don't believe in God. So here's a suggestion of how everyone can realize that God is within you. The general argument of the common man is that since the Lord is not visible to our eyes, how can one either surrender unto him or render transcendental loving service unto him? To such a common man, here is a practical suggestion given by Srila Shukadeva Goswami as to how one can perceive the Supreme Lord by reason and perception. Actually, the Lord is not perceivable by our present materialized senses, but when one is convinced of the presence of the Lord by a practical service attitude, there is a revelation by the Lord's mercy, and such a pure devotee of the Lord can perceive the Lord's presence always and everywhere. He can perceive that intelligence is the form direction of the Paramatma plenary portion of the personality of Godhead. The presence of Paramatma in everyone's company is not very difficult to realize, even for the common man. The procedure is as follows. One can perceive one's self-identification and feel positively that he exists. So this is a process, how to understand God is within the heart. First step is, everyone can feel, I exist. That's easy. Next, he may not feel it very abruptly, but by using a little intelligence, he can feel that he is not the body. He can feel that the hand, the leg, the head, and the hair and the limbs are all his bodily parts and parcels, but as such, the hand, the leg, the head, etc., cannot be identified with his self. Therefore, just by using intelligence, he can distinguish and separate his self from other things that he sees. So the natural conclusion is that the living being, either man or beast, is the seer, and he sees besides himself all other things. So there is a difference between the seer and the seen. So that is a statement of BhagavadGita. Idam sharidam konteya cheturam iti avidyate etayo veditam prabhu cheturam ya iti tadvita. We are the knower. We are the seer. And everything else, whatever we see, is the seen, but not us, the seer. Whatever we can see is not me. I see you, you are not me. I see you, you are not me. I see this hand, it is also not me.
What if I see myself in the mirror?
That's not yourself. If you see your hand, you are the seer, and what is seen is not you. And if you see the reflection of the hand in the mirror, that's also not you. This is what everyone must realize first. Otherwise, advancement in Krishna consciousness will never take place. You have to realize this body is not yourself. Yes.
What does mean Godhead?
Godhead. Godhead means that Krishna is the head of God, the number one God. There are many expansions of God. Even we are a kind of expansions of God, but He is Godhead.
And why people say you go back to Godhead?
As we go back to Krishna.
Godhead means head means over, right? God is over, but why they say Godhead?
Because Krishna is the head, the God. There are many forms, Rama, Nrsimha, Brahma, Kurma, etc. But Krishna is the head, the God. Head means the chief, number one. So Godhead means to go to Krishna. Not over Krishna, just go to Krishna. Anyway, as Prabhupada said, I'm doing work here. Prabhupada said, he may not feel it very abruptly, but by using a little intelligence, he can feel that he is not the body. You may not feel it abruptly, but if you use a little intelligence, you can understand you are not the body. So the natural conclusion is that the living being, either man or beast, is the seer, and he sees beside himself all other things. So there's a difference between the seer and the seen. Even if you just put your hand out in front of you, you would say, I see my hand, right? So when you look at your hand, where do you feel you are seeing your hand? Do you feel you're here? Or you feel you're somehow behind the eyes inside? No? And this is outside. Don't you feel that?
Yeah. This is not a part, like when you cut off your hand, you still exist. A lot of people who amputated.
Yeah, you still exist. Some people have no hands.
Some people have no legs. It doesn't really, this doesn't really constitute a self.
Yes, that is not yourself.
When you're blind, your eyes, you still exist.
Of course, generally everyone is thinking this is me, but if you have little intelligence, like you're using intelligence, then you can understand actually this is not me. Okay, I'll continue.
But caught in the net and then it's prana going out. That means leg is eye, no.
Huh?
Well, they are in disabilities.
What did he say? Please say again.
I don't know. He's saying if you cut your head off, then you cannot see anymore. But still you are the seer. Just you don't have any more eyes to see, that's your head. But you will go then to the next womb. You will get another body with eyes, and if you come back to that same place, you'll see, oh, there's the head. But you won't remember it's your head.
Oh my God.
Anyway, cut your head.
Scary.
So,
Yesterday I got somebody.
somebody said,
Very sad.
What do you call?
scorpion.
This
Oh
scorpion.
my,
This came in my room. So.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But you couldn't have just taken him from a vacuum, sucked it and thrown him out. Just kidding, just kidding. Right.
Anyway. So the natural conclusion is that the living being, either man or beast, is the seer, and he sees besides himself all other things. Any objections? No. So I'll continue to the next step. Now, by a little use of intelligence, we can also readily agree that the living being who sees the things beyond himself by ordinary vision has no power to see or to move independently. All our ordinary actions and perceptions depend on various forms of energy supplied to us by nature in various combinations. Our senses of perception and of action, that is to say, our five perceptive senses, hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell, as well as our five senses of action, namely hands, legs, speech, evacuation organs, and reproductive organs, and also our three subtle senses, namely mind, intelligence, and ego, are supplied to us by various arrangements of gross or subtle forms of natural energy. And it is equally evident that our objects of perception are nothing but the products of the inexhaustible permutations and combinations of the forms taken by natural energy. As this conclusively proves that the ordinary living being has no independent power of perception or of motion, and as we undoubtedly feel our existence being conditioned by nature's energy, we conclude that he who sees is spirit and that the senses as well as the objects of perception are material. The spiritual quality of the seer is manifest in our dissatisfaction with the limited state of materially conditioned existence. That's actually a very interesting sentence. According to modern science, everything is matter. There's no separate or superior energy of spirit. They think that life is just another form of matter. Life evolved from matter. But of course, Bhagavad teaches that matter and spirit are two separate energies of Krishna, matter being inferior and spirit being superior. So here it says that the spiritual quality of the seer is manifest in our dissatisfaction with the limited state of materially conditioned existence. We're always dissatisfied. We're never satisfied with whatever material arrangement is there. Even a billionaire is trying to become a multi-billionaire. We're never satisfied. So that indicates if we were material, why not be satisfied with material life? But the superior spiritual quality of our nature is manifested by our dissatisfaction with inferior material existence. That is the difference between spirit and matter. There are some less intelligent arguments that matter develops the power of seeing and moving in a certain organic development, but such an argument cannot be accepted because there is no experimental evidence that matter has anywhere produced a living entity. Trust no future, however pleasant. Idle talks regarding future development of matter into spirit are actually foolish because no matter has ever developed the power of seeing or moving in any part of the world. Therefore, it is definite that matter and spirit are two different identities, and this conclusion is arrived at by the use of intelligence. Now we come to the point that the things which are seen by a little use of intelligence cannot be animate unless we accept someone as the user or director of the intelligence. Intelligence gives one direction like some higher authority. And the living being cannot see or move or eat or do anything without the use of intelligence. When one fails to take advantage of intelligence, he becomes a deranged man. And so a living being is dependent on intelligence or the direction of a superior being. Such intelligence is all-pervading. Every living being has this intelligence. And this intelligence, being the direction of some higher authority, is just like a father giving direction to his son. The higher authority who is present and residing within every individual living being is the super self. It goes on also. Any questions? I have a question. When we are chanting kirtan, why you never chant Hare Krishna? Me? You, yeah. Not you.
No.
That's within myself, never loud.
Pardon?
Say within myself.
But mine,
He's saying that he's not saying it aloud, that's all.
Why not?
Once. Only when I say my prayers, I always say it quietly.
I'm just asking in a friendly way.
No,
Because you're here every week, and I'm always chanting. And then sometimes I see you are never chanting.
There's a recording of Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna, which is played every morning for a long period of time. In that, 16,
Yeah, I know, you asked me this question before,
right,
but I would have to hear it. I've heard many recordings of Prabhupada chanting japa. He's saying that when Prabhupada is chanting japa on the recording that you play here, the last Hare Hare he doesn't chant.
it's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, why? Who does that?
You heard that?
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Oh, why would he do that?
I'm not thinking like that, it's slowly going on down.
Anyway, on YouTube, there are many recordings of Prabhupada. We'll listen tonight and see whether it is true or not. I've never heard that, so I can't answer your question.
And I'm not saying Prabhupada did that, I'm saying on the recording. That's not.
Which state, it's a body state?
But I have a question, since you asked me that. Is there any benefit in saying your prayers or like in Bible they say
Yes.
that you say in your heart, God will hear it.
Well,
I do agree that when you have conditioned one, it's the environment which creates kind of a conducive thing. But when you say your prayers,
well, my answer would be this, that there are many statements in Shastra. For example, in the Bhagavatam, it says, Kaler, in the Kali Yuga, it's a dosha nithe, it's an ocean of faults. Rajan, speaking to the king. Asti hi eka mahan guna, but there is one maha guna, one great quality of Kali Yuga. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param braje. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. So kirtan means louder. Kirtan cannot be only mental. And then another place, Prabhupada says, there's that small booklet on chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Prabhupada recorded something when the first vinyl record was made, a happening record. Part of it is a talk by Prabhupada, which is printed there on chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada says the transcendental vibration created by the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the sublime method for self-realization. The transcendental vibration established by chanting Hare Krishna. It's called a transcendental sound vibration. So just that sound vibration.
since I'm a scientist, I can give you one more thing. Since you mentioned about transcendental vibrations, so does it mean that a dumb man can never attain?
No, I'm not saying that mental chanting is of no use. And the processes of devotional service are Navalakshana. There's 9 divisions. Shravanam Kirtanam. So it is described that if one is perfect in only one even, he can attain perfection. So even if you cannot talk, if you can hear, that can also give you perfection.
So what are the 9 ones? Hearing,
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smardanam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam.
I heard this.
Let your friend ask a question.
You go ahead. You said one special thing about Kali Yuga. That means only in Kali Yuga they are doing kirtans loudly, or they were not doing, because BhagavadGita, Krishna only wrote it. Dwapar Yuga, this did not exist.
Well, it doesn't mean that it did not exist, but special especially in the age of Kali, that if simply one does that, one can attain perfection. It's implying that in other ages one may do, but one could not attain perfection simply by that.
Really?
But maybe.
But anyway, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in Kali Yuga. So this mantra didn't exist then, before, right?
The thing is that one has to follow the principles laid down in the Shastra. So in the different yugas, there's different dharmas. So in other yugas, dharmas are jnana, yajna.
Harder, very much harder than this.
Yes. So
Kali Yuga, the prescription for attaining
It's actually-
consciousness is just by chanting.
Easier, this if only we could, everybody would do
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not creating that mantra. You are asking that about that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not creating.
He made it
It is
easy.
already there. He just introduced.
that. So it was already there, means in Dwapar Yuga, were they doing that?
Yeah, some from Satyatrita.
I researched about holy cow.
Holy cow?
Not holy cow.
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I never heard holy cow, but somebody said about holy cow that the sister of Hiranyakashipu, Pralad's auntie. There's some story
Tell the
about.
story Sunday, not now.
I'm not telling Sunday because
Surprise.
I researched this quite a bit in Google, and there were many websites that explained, but nobody could tell how the origin of the story came. No one could say this is in the something Purana or this is just, all they could say is that legend has it and such like that.
And about.
And it's never mentioned in the Bhaktivedanta database. One second. Never mentioned in Bhaktivedanta database. So, can't believe everything you read, they say. Can't believe everything you hear.
I mean, if it is in Bhaktivedanta, you can believe, right? Is that what you're saying? You cannot believe that also? It's not in it.
I'm saying I cannot really say whether Hiranyakashipu had a sister Holika, and that whether she really was asked by Hiranyakashipu to enter the fire and tell Prahlad, come on, come on. And that story. Anything else?
The other thing about that we talked about, I just want to be clear on this, because we're talking about self-vibration. Earlier this week, we were talking about chanting silently. Remember that?
I don't remember. Well,
I have the right answer for that,
okay.
but we stopped me to talk, so.
Well, now you can say.
Right.
Okay, what's the answer?
Answer is that I heard on a Prabhupada lecture, he was telling that when we chant loudly, even when animals heard our chant, they get benefit.
Very
Even
good.
bird and
Yeah.
even dog and every animal.
Right.
Even insects.
Yeah,
birds.
That's why I say in all my pets' ears too, so that they can. Maybe I didn't.
Yeah, that's the right
That's true.
answer for that.
That's the best answer.
Now, if the pets, they hear it, they will also get some benefit.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically now they are hearing it because they had some good karma, right? From me they are hearing it and they have some good karma.
Yeah, that's a good question. But somewhere it is described that
Yeah, Prabhupada says some of lecture.
Yeah.
I will tell you next time what part is that.
Next time, wait for next time, Prabhuji.
somewhere it is said that Haridas Thakur, he would chant 3 lakhs of names. Somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but I read he chanted 1 lakh loudly, 1 lakh very softly, and 1 lakh just within his mind. So chanting within the mind is also a standard practice. There are different statements in the Puranas. Some places it is said that chanting within the mind, if you do it attentively anyway, is 1,000 times more beneficial.
Oh, in the mind?
But that I just read in unauthorized Puranas. But of course, Shravanam Kirtanam Smaranam. But generally, Prabhupada would say, if we think we can just sit and chant on the mind,
Keep
got a
the
chance to stay awake. Of course, there's jokes about devotees also. Sometimes there's joke, 10 kinds of chanting. And I don't remember all the different kinds, but one kind I remember. Just devotees joke, the dive bomber chanting. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Anyway,
We had, a couple of times when I was in Chicago, we did a 1-day workshop on chanting. It included saying 64 rounds. And it was such a glorious sound. I mean, there were many people in the temple and they were chanting. And I was in there, it just really was very nice. And then I went outside to do certain areas of the temple, but you had to go to half a city block to do it. The alleys are. But anyway, and then every time when you're approaching the temple, you just hear this. And it had this wonderful quality like honeybees, in honeycomb, you hear this nice buzzing. And walking in, it was amazing because it was also very perceptible. I think many people commented for how intense their own chanting became as they heard the chanting of fellow devotees.
So in the other yugas, they wouldn't, it would be very hard, but they all got their liberation, right? Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, they couldn't.
I mean, I don't know. Of course, in other yugas, they are chanting the name of God, but perhaps they didn't just sit down and chant names of God. I don't know.
All yugas, just to say, roaming here and there in this universe. Satyatita Dwapara, all material yugas.
Say that again, what?
But there's not yugas in the heavenly planets.
Yeah. There
There's
have
no-
been, not everybody got this salvation, moksha, whatever. Not always somebody who followed deep perfection and Lord Savatara's time. Like
I don't understand what you're saying.
Ramchandra's time, when Ramchandra presented this world and just come back to his planet, at that time, whatever is there around, and take them, not whole yugas.
Just Ayodhya.
Yeah, just like that. Krishna's like same thing. When Krishna lived this world, back to the.
I thought Krishna didn't take anybody, is that true? That's what he said. He did not. He could not, I believe, is that true?
I don't know.
So you're saying in the heavenly planets, of course, there's no yugas, it doesn't affect them?
Yeah, there's no Kali Yuga in Indraloka,
Correct.
Janaloka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka.
None of all these yugas?
Anyway, don't worry about these technicalities.
This is not a technicality.
Okay.
It's really very important.
Yeah.
In our temple.
Yeah.
Now we've begun the practice of the 12-hour kirtan. It is so, it's really amazing. I was surprised about it. It was so powerful. And you could be hours and hours, and it just was nothing for you about it. And it's also
When you did it here, 12-hour kirtan, when you did it here?
oh yes.
That's why.
I would just really encourage everyone to be there. And it's really like caught on fire, I think, with the young adults in our community. We're really working intensively at it. And even little children can participate. We all can participate. And I would also, very especially, I think our temple president, because of her, this is really been supported. And I think it's going to become a very important part of our tradition. So I think that maybe that's the key.
That's a good program. Brings people here.
This is once every month, right? We're trying every third Saturday of the month. Oh. This temple never done it before. Started in January. Just need everybody's participation.
It's a joy.